So, hello everybody. I'm Jen with Jen's Turn, and my first question, Naps, is you mentioned that we started talking about lasers and stuff, and that happened through Joey and me trying to align my laser.
Hmm.
You helped me out, which turned out my laser was aligned, but there were other issues. So you
Had a lazy eye.
hit my laser. The question is, I believe you do that for a lot of people in the community, and I know that it's appreciated, at least on my end. How do you feel about that? Do you enjoy that aspect of the community, or would you I know it's a kind of a rude question.
No, it's not a rude
Let her
question.
rip. Let her rip.
Be like, "Let me focus on my own stuff, people."
Like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, y'all aren't gonna hurt my feelings with any questions. I'm a pretty open book, and I'd say I'm a pretty professional guy when it comes to answering, especially questions like this. I'd say when I first started out, when I had my previous job as an instructor, it was a lot easier for me to, I'd say, help folks out, and I really much did enjoy, and I still enjoy it. Right? I like when people reach out to me because it makes me feel wanted. Makes me feel warm fuzzy inside.
Oh.
But at the same time, there are times when folks will try to get you to just do it all for them.
Mhm.
And don't get me wrong, I will help anybody that's literally mechanically not inclined. And I will go through and I'll go all the things, not a big deal. But then, there's folks that have reached out to me in the past and I've looked them up, see what they do, that way I can figure out how I need to talk to them. Because believe it or not, I do stalk, the Instagrams to see like what the level of, I guess, their technical expertise is. Because when you start talking about certain things, if you don't use certain verbiage, people aren't going to understand you.
Yeah.
And typically when I run across the folks that have been doing this a while and they don't just look up the Google, because believe it or not, that's where I learn most of my stuff. The Google, Instagram, sometimes Facebook, forums and those things. But there'll be like super simple questions. And I'm like, okay, I'll answer you. But really?
But you didn't even
Search
try.
bar.
You didn't even try.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when I get a little, not like just a little frustrated. I can't say upset, but I'll still help the person. I'll still do, what it is I like to do, and that's help people. But I like tough questions. Like, for example, when Jen and I were going over her stuff, I legitimately had to Google, look through forums, all sorts of things. I'm like, why is she getting this double image? Like, what is happening? And eventually we got to a setting that I never even considered. It's like the bi-directional fill. It's like where it goes side to side or it goes on a slight angle during the raster. And she has to uncheck that box to make it work. Now, mind you, I think there's still something else possibly wrong, maybe like a loose piece of hardware somewhere, because that I don't think should do that. But for the time being, we have the Band-Aid fix, and that's one way to fix that. But to finish that question off, I don't mind helping folks. I love helping folks, but please use the search bar first. That's all I ask.
Big advocate of that.
Jake's mantra: search bar.
Hey, I think you're right on that though, because if they put some effort into doing it, and then they need help, you're more apt to be excited to help them. But if you can tell they haven't tried anything, then you're like, come on, man. And I'll just send them my videos. I'll just send them a link to my videos, and they're like, even had somebody go, well, I don't have time to watch that. Well, I'm like, well, I don't have time to talk to you then.
I've had a lot of answers. Yeah, you'll get stupid commentary back. It's just what it is.
I guess people think that I know a lot about those lasers, and I owe a lot to Naps because he helped me get started with it. And I'm kind of probably part of your problem. I always send everybody just get a hold of Naps. Naps Naughty Works LLC on Instagram. DM him. He'll get you going.
I'd say I think the interesting one with you, Joey, when we were going over your laser was the rotary. Now that was an interesting and fun one to figure out. Like, how are we going to do this? You ended up fashioning some kind of cradle for that thing to sit in your laser and run the rotary, which I thought was pretty inventive.
Yeah, we did that, and on top of almost catching it on fire the first time, and yeah, it was pretty good introduction into laser beams. There you go.
Laser beams.
Pew pew.